All right. So this is the first podcast in a long time. Welcome to the Good Dudes podcast. We haven't been here in a minute. It took a minute for us to come back and do this same podcast on this channel, but I'm glad we're back because the first time it was very inconsistent, and now we want to try to make it consistent. It was like the setup. It just, you know what I'm saying. But today we have Jacob Bailey, Johnny Boy, Shelby, and myself. We're all going to be just talking about basically like anything, just all the good parts about Pat because of the tragic thing that we just went through, and like how we all met Pat and all the special moments we had with Pat. And that was Pat.
That was Pat. He said, "Fuck, happy dad."
Dude, he just literally pushed that shit over right now.
A beast just pops up right there.
Yeah, oh my God.
Like it should have been a Modelo one. Big Modelo guy.
I guess like me and you fucking known each other for how long?
Shit, what? So, I mean, if we're getting right into it, I think me and you met, I think it was like 2015.
I remember we met.
2014.
Dude,
I started riding.
it was like 2011
Really?
because I remember meeting Pat in 2013.
Yeah, we met. That was the year I was always confused.
Yeah.
I was like, did I meet Pat my senior year or junior year? But it was my junior year. But I knew I started riding like, yeah, I think maybe sophomore year.
Yeah.
Just before, because I met you just before I met Pat, because I just had recently met Connor too.
Yeah. And then I pulled up to the crib at Connor's house, and the first time I met you.
I don't know. I don't know if I met Pat before you, if I met you before Pat.
I remember we all collectively went to Pat's house with
For his
Connor
birthday?
for his
Is that
birthday.
the first time we all met
Yeah.
him? Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
That's what I heard. I heard
Yeah,
that because
yeah.
you were wrestling everyone.
man made me.
Yeah.
If you were at Pat's 21st birthday party and you were a man above the age of fucking 17, I fucking wrestled you. I beat everyone, so I don't remember losing. Yeah.
That was a good time though. But the first time I met you, I remember I snapped my bars in half.
Oh yeah.
And then you hooked me up with a set of bars.
Yeah, I was like, look at this dude, because I was like, yeah, I'm sending flares, like I'm the shit, and then Shane shows up, like this kid from fucking heaven,
Just, like, way better
hey,
than
this
you.
guy's cool. And he was like, woo, like big old flare, then snaps his bars, and I was like, no, like
First go.
you can't just do that. Like I got bars at home. You just fucking, I want to see this guy fucking ride.
Yeah, and then we just had a good session the rest of the day. It was pretty fire.
Sick. And then fucking, yeah, after that, yeah, then we met. I remember meeting Pat there. And we were drunk, like staring at his ramps. It just got built, Dream Yard 1. And I was like, oh, dude, like, shit, like, you got all these people to ride with and all that. And he's like, no, like, I ride alone, like, a lot of the times, you know? And then I was like, fuck, here's my number. Like, can I get yours? And he'll, like, when he would tell the story, he's like, I didn't expect this kid to, like, hit me up right off the bat. Like, next day, dude, I was like, hey, can I come over? Hey, can I come over? Dude, and then
I mean, nobody would expect like the
every
ramps.
single day, I was just like, hey, I'm going to come over. And I was like, either he's going to get tired of me, like, full on tired of me, or, like, I'm gonna be able to ride these ramps all the time. So, and then later on, it like just bloomed into like the friendship. Then later on, like watching Reed and everyone, like Reed, Tatum, be born. It was like more part of the family.
That was the crazy part. It was like when we first met Pat, it was not party Pat at all. Actually, he would party on his birthday. You know, you'd have his time.
You know,
but like we met him before Reed.
Yeah, I know, dude.
And like we met, so like I was thinking about this last night. Like we could all kind of agree with this. Is like Pat was always on like a move. You know?
Yeah.
He was always like, he kind of had these plans before he had the plans. Like before we even knew.
It was
and he
sitting in
never
there.
said anything. That was the cool part about Pat. He never talked about what his move was.
Just look at his
just
look
doing
at
it.
his notes. He didn't
Yeah.
tell anyone. Get gnarly drunk and then do a workout.
He did that for a YouTube video. Yeah, you're
No
right.
one ever heard about that one.
Did you see his notebook yesterday?
It takes a lot for me to see it. But yeah, I did see it the day before, but I only seen it a little bit. I just
Really, it's cool.
I looked
Too
at
much-
it for like
He's
40
literally an
minutes,
artist.
and like before the ramps were even built, he had a vision. He was drawing it.
Oh yeah,
It's
dude.
wild.
I
It's in
remember
the Notebook.
when
Fucked up.
he used to just put that
Crazy.
thing on the.
Manifested.
He used to put that thing on the island of the freaking in the kitchen and stuff like that, and you just leave it there and like, oh, like if you're like people would just come in there and draw and stuff like that. I remember drawing like he had that one. I think there's another one somewhere. It was like a travel one. Draw the most ludicrous freaking things ever, bro. And just like
Yeah.
random like we would draw skate parks that we went to in like crazy cartoon form, or we just draw like freaking. I remember a lot of the time we were on a Lola kick, bro. We were drawing Lolas everywhere, bro. I swear we were just like we called her Mrs. Johnson.
Yeah,
like little
so
Mrs. Johnson.
He always had like that the move of like doing those things like but like I was saying like he never said anything about it. He just had it in his notes. And dude, he like blossomed this whole fuck like bro, what?
He knew what he wanted.
Dude, and like it's such a good thing to look up to. Like it's crazy. Like he had Reed before he even knew he had Reed. Like, you know? Like and like on top of all this stuff, he's just being like a dad. I'm like it sucks because the people that are like do everything right are the ones
That get taken.
yeah. It is very unfortunate. But what I want to talk about is like the good parts of Pat for a while because like we all had our last couple of days. It was very tough. We have fucking very emotional moments. It now is like what we're 4 or 5 days in,
It's over a week.
over a week now, and it's
Doesn't even
still
feel like
there. But I don't know, for you it's different because you were obviously there and you were, but for me like I'm kind of getting numb to it in a sense now. But it is tough.
I want to talk about. Pastor was there the day before.
So he's just like, his name's Claude. Claude would just like come, the nicest person ever. Like when you're around him, you want to be a better person. It's weird. It's like, it's cool though. He just comes over and just cool with me and Pat and just wants to film us. That's it. Just,
Because Pat was Catholic, right? Was it a
Yeah.
Catholic pastor? Okay.
no, it wasn't a Catholic. This is from the pastor's from
Christian.
Christian Sandals. But we just met him. He just rides. He's a flatland rider, like really good, and he like judges the fees flatland. But he was just there, and he was just comes over like every now and then, just films. Like doesn't want anything, just wants to film us and get us clips. And he was there. We were just hanging out, and then like it was a normal day, and then next day just
How often did he come over?
probably like once every like 3 weeks, like a decent amount.
About the box.
That Chase
Mail
was
from
saying.
Deity. Is that one of his sponsors?
Oh yeah, that one was weird. So it's like a mountain bike company, and Pat got new mountain bike for the dirt jumper, like
Yeah,
bars
the
and
wheels.
yeah,
Yeah.
bars and stuff. And he was like, the pastor was over there, and he was like, you know what that means, right? And we're like, what? He was like, God. And we're like thinking about that now. Like I'm getting chills talking about it, but I was like,
Yeah, and then Chase was just saying how that Sunday he was talking about how he wanted to go quick because of like Chase was saying that someone in Tay's school, if correct me if I'm wrong, someone in Tay's school's daughter or mother may have passed away or
yeah, I
something.
think so.
But it was a slow thing, and then Pat like mentioned to her because they had like a full good Sunday together. And Pat was like, "I'd rather die fast, quick." That's just craziest.
Just like everything leading up to it, it's like there's so many signs and like stuff that happened that like you weren't thinking about because you're not expecting them to go, you know.
Yeah,
Now like looking back at it, you're like, oh my gosh, like he said this happened.
When Jay said they were eating dinner and got a beer, and she said she never gets a beer.
yeah. There he goes. Cheers, babe.
Yeah,
What?
it's like if it was gonna be their last one, like you know.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe life like ends up. I don't know. Maybe those things line up like that for a certain reason, kind of shit like that. I mean,
Yeah,
like we all agree in the sense of like if you're gonna take one, I mean, shit, I'd throw my life before that dude if I
Yeah.
had a choice, you know. And I'm pretty sure every damn one of us would.
yeah,
You know, so like maybe that's life in the sense of ways like knowing that it's going to take a very good person away and giving those people closest to them those certain moments like on purpose, you know.
yeah.
Like life knowing that like hey, like you don't know, but tomorrow's his last day, so like here's all these little special moments,
Yeah.
this and that.
In his notes,
You know,
as
like
well.
who's to say?
Yeah, honestly,
And the notes and all that, like finding other things and like who knows how fun.
But in his notes, how he was talking about just like here for a good time, not a long time.
yeah, just like if anything, like especially for chasing the family, I feel like the notes, like him doing that for the notes, helped them more than anything. Just
Yeah.
because like reassurance that like he knew like that it's gonna happen at one point, but like you said, he's here for a good time, not a long time. That just like letting Chase know how much he loves her, how much he loves the kids.
Yep.
Know everything. It's like not like he left. Like I don't know.
The cool thing that I like, not like obviously there's not much cool things that happen out of this, but it's just like the part that shows that Pat was like he brought so many people together, and like for instance like Axel. I love the guy now, but like obviously we had a little differences, like because of me being a friend with somebody else and blah 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 and so on and so forth. But Axel, like when I seen him, it was just more like,
Gone,
dude,
crushed.
like this guy went through. I can't even explain what he went through because they were so close at the time as well with all of us.
Yeah.
But when I seen him, it just brought us closer. Like I'm like Axel and I like have like a
Good
connection
friend,
now where it's like, bro, it's kind of like Pat kind of, he did that.
Oh yeah, for
Are
sure.
we allowed to talk about Axel and flushing the beef with Connor in this?
I mean, I think Axel just at one point was telling me, he's like, I mean, it's none of my business, but like Axel was respectful as fuck about this whole Buttery situation because they never liked each other.
Yeah.
But Axel straight up said, he's like, listen, dude, like, Pat taught him a lot. Losing Pat, if something ever happened to, like, Buttery or something like that, it would fucking break his heart,
Yeah.
because
They were on good terms.
Yeah. So it's like he's probably on this wave of, like,
Life's
I want to
too
be,
short.
life's too short. Let's be cool with everybody,
Yeah.
Because that's how Pat lived.
No, yeah. Like you said,
Yeah. Have you ever seen Pat, like, dislike somebody?
no.
No.
And even if he did, he still let them come over to their house and use the ramp.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't really
even
care.
still, he was
Watch
just
me
like,
do
Yeah.
Like, well, you have a beer, put the gloves on.
they're like, yeah, like, it's crazy.
The videos I saw of the night, it was like all y'all over in Paul. Raj.
Oh,
Gloves.
locked it.
That's
That
the
was
funniest
his birthday.
I
Dude, yeah, that was his
That was his
birthday.
birthday.
I remember that.
That was fun. Me and him both shaved our heads that night. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He shaved his. I was like, oh, I like that guy. I need that.
I need that.
Dude.
Clubs, the garage fight clubs. Oh my god, there's many.
Spinning back fist.
Oh my
Carl.
god! I remember that.
His hoodie that night.
I thought we were just boxing.
His hoodie.
What happened?
His hoodie that night said, "Are we drinking?" And it just killed me.
Dude, Pat's laugh when he was boxing Paul is just the funniest
It's
shit
like
ever.
the evilest laugh, but like
Dude,
that
it's-
stoner little giggle, you know?
Yeah.
Oh
Dude,
my
it was contagious.
Safety glasses did it for me, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
Anytime the safety glasses came out,
That guy loved his glasses. The amount of
you
glasses,
see the
yeah.
videos, bro.
Even with the crazy googly like eye
Yeah,
ones.
the googly-eyed ones.
He was king of the funny glasses for sure.
So if you guys don't know, Pat got a text from his eye doctor saying, like, it's all just like a, what's it called?
We'll have to get the picture.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll,
have to get the picture.
we'll put it up.
Sure.
But it's just like a text message that, like, you're not actually texting someone. You're texting like a robot, They're saying, like, you haven't been here to get your eyes checked for 5 years. Probably should come in or something like that. So Pat had, like, these crazy glasses and took a picture and sent it back to them.
No way.
Like, they're gonna, like, it just, like, makes his eyes look huge. It's so funny. You guys will see the picture.
You'll remember the glasses too. They're all like bloodshotted. So
You haven't got your eyes checked in 5 years and just sent back a picture.
like fucking bubbles.
Yeah, the funniest thing ever.
oh my
It
god.
was so crazy when I first met Pat, how like shy he was, and like how much he came out of his shell. Dude, he was always kind of like just like he was a shy guy,
Yeah.
But he would just be on the ramp, and he would just be vibing.
The
Like he'll
music.
say, he's like that
He'd
meme.
only
He's
talk
like
shit.
that meme. He's like, yeah, he quiet, but like, you know, he funny if you get to know him type thing, you know?
Yeah.
That's literally was Pat when he first met him,
Oh,
you know?
absolutely. When he first met, well, I think we were talking about this like last night. I remember those first 2 days that I went over to his house. I swear, like, you know, I wasn't I'm a loud dude now. Like, I wouldn't say I was like as loud as I was in high school. I'm fucking loud as shit now.
Yeah, you were just pissed off in high
Yeah, I
school.
was just angry in high school. But I remember going over there, and it was just like mutual, like, sup, yeah, like, and then he would send something, and then like give me this look, like, then I'd send something, and then he'd be like, okay, do something a little bit more, but like no words would be exchanged.
I would
we
love
would just
to
like then go take some bong rips and be like then we'd like talk in the garage, but on the ramp we like wouldn't say anything.
I'd love to talk about the energy he had and the monster he created. This fucking kid, dude. You like. I remember at one point he was Pat's prodigy. At one point I was Pat's prodigy, and you were like the last prodigy because Pat always had like his one homie that would always ride with, you know, and you. Dude, you had a big one, and you had a big one as well. Me, I was just around at the same time.
When I started riding with Pat, I couldn't drop in on coping.
Oh, I fucking remember that shit. Yeah,
Yeah, the first time I met Pat, I met Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
and
on
then
that.
We went to Woodward that one time.
Yeah, and I was like I said, I didn't ride then. I was like, I think it was, I was like 12. I remember I was at my mom's work, and I was like, sent my mom a text that morning, and I was like, oh, I like sent her a screenshot of Woodward, and then Chase comes in, and my mom tells her like, yeah, he wants to go to Woodward, blah blah blah. And she goes, oh, Pat's going tomorrow. Like, I don't even know Pat, like, really. And then she was just like, I met Pat once. She was like, yeah, he can take him. He can, like, you know, Chase is just like, won't even ask, but like say, yeah, Pat, you're taking him.
That's funny.
You're going to Woodward.
Yeah.
Like, you're going.
So-
You're going. There's no choice.
You're taking this kid to
I
Woodward.
always had this like this thing where dude, if you hung out with Pat, it was like, what are you gonna do, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like you're sitting on the ramp, like
You'd start to question your sanity.
you're not just gonna sit here and chill.
No, no.
Dude, dude, it was always like, what are you gonna do? But it was more of like the energy. Like he didn't say it like that,
Yeah.
but he was just like, bro, you got that.
Yeah.
Like, you
He
know,
will tell you got something, even though he doesn't think you got it, but he'll make you believe you got it.
Absolutely.
I took my fucking bike to his house like 1 or 2 times.
I
The second time, I was like, he had just built the new back section in the spine. It was like a fucking 4-foot gap. I was like looking at it, and I was like, "You think I can hit that?" And he was like, "100%." He had no concept of like what I could do on a bicycle.
it was always an I can't. It's always, dude,
Yeah.
there's no can't with that, man. There's nothing like, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah,
I don't
but the
care how
thing
you
was-
do it. Just do
cool
it.
thing
I ate
was-
shit so hard, and I'm laying there. And all I hear is, "You good?" That was the last time I took my bike to Pat's.
He's all fuck this. But the thing is, though, like I could understand if it's one point, if it's like some dude just getting people to do crazy shit. But Pat would be like, "All right, you're learning this trick, and I'll learn a trick too." Then,
He'd back it up.
yeah. Even though like he'll learn something he hasn't. Like if he sees somebody else sending it, oh, you bet your ass that dude's gonna be sending it with you.
Oh, absolutely.
No
And
doubt.
half the time he's making it look so fucking easy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just body bagging your shit on the ground. You're like, yeah, I'm stoked. Like, oh, is that number 3 today? There's that number 3 trick that you just learned. You're like, I was still fucking working on number 1. I'm still trying to figure this out. He's like, no, he would always still just be like, no, you got it. I mean, a lot of cases, I won't lie to, like, I didn't really get oh, you got it. He's just like, fucking do it, you
Yeah.
fucking bro. He's like,
Yeah.
it was like, but in a positive way, but like, more than like, oh, you got this. He was just like, stop being a fucking bitch and do it, bro. Just be.
That's how
There
it
was
always was.
the one moment of Shelby was there. Shelby actually filmed it. Pat filmed it as well. There was this kicker ramp, like you said, it was like a foot tall. I was just like seeing Reed jump in the pool, and then I was like, okay, I'll jump in the pool, and I'm like, me and Pat are like trying stuff in the pool of a 1 foot tall kicker ramp, and I like trying to front flip, and like I was kind of getting it around. I was like, yo, okay, like this might be the move right now, and then Pat's like, yo, okay. Next thing you know, the kicker ramp set off a ledge
On a
dirt hill. Well, fuck, Pat. He's like, dude, you have it.
That's the worst part too, because you'll be doing something or talking about something, then he'll set it up for you. You're like,
You don't know how he.
Yeah.
You don't know
I
how
have
he
to
can
do this right now.
Watch your mouth, boy. You gotta watch your mouth. But I like, okay, first one of rotation, I was like, okay, I got close. Like, I was like, not close, but I landed on my butt.
Yeah.
The second run up, dude, I just lost it. I just did not do what I was supposed to do. Landed straight on my back. We could even play the clip right here.
Yeah, play
I
it.
landed straight on my back. Shelby sees
Just
me
recently
fall.
after spinal
I could
surgery,
just-
right?
Yes. No, this was before my back
Oh,
injury.
this was before.
But dude, Shelby is trying his best to not laugh.
It's like when the teacher tells you not to laugh, you're just like in class.
Dude, you can hear in this clip too.
I heard Pat like laughing under his breath. I think he started just laughing out loud. I lost it.
'Cause
That
you
was
don't-
all I could do to hold the camera up. I was in tears, bro.
You
all
don't-
you hear is
Yeah, it's like that fine in between where like you don't know if he's actually hurt, but then you go up to him, you see him just like rolling there, and then you're like, okay, I can laugh, and then you just start.
Pat goes,
Oh,
Pat goes, fucking word for word. I think you got it next try.
Like you're gonna try it again after that.
He's like laughing. I'm like, bro.
I never understood it. Like, how does he do that? Like, I never could understand the scientific method of how he just got people to do it. Because I'm a victim of it so many times too. Like,
Yeah.
roll the double flip open loop.
Yeah.
2 weeks before X.
Dude, that one's funny. Pat convinced you to do a double flip.
I was so
He
fucking
said he was gonna
mad,
take the
bro.
ramp out.
I was so fucking mad. So I could never do it again.
All
Yeah.
right, let's explain that. So Jacob, so it was X Games at Pat's house.
X Games at
Jacob,
Pat's
you were trying you were thinking about trying your best trick
Yeah.
before just to get it warmed up, but it was such a gnarly trick that you didn't really want to try it that day. But Pat was like,
Yeah, so we set the bag up, right? We set the rectangle bag up, everything like that, to make it like it was a double flip on an open loop, you know? Like if I'm only like double flipped maybe a box jump resine, like fucking the nitro shit consistently, but like this is an open loop. I'm like, okay, like I'm pretty sure it was a world's first at the time, like for BMX at least. I know mountain bike guys have already done that shit, but so yeah, I'm like putting the bag up, and I like took my pegs. I don't know why I took my pegs off. Like it was just weird. I was like, I don't need pegs to make it easier, right? Like just dumb shit I was fucking thinking. So I took them off, and then I was giving them some goes, and I was like, it's coming around. Like,
all right, but
not
it's the part where we're doing it on the airbag, and he's like, all right, Jacob, I'm taking out this ramp unless you do it right now. He's taking out the
That's what I
ramp
was-
so you
and
can't do it.
Because all the ramp builders are there. They're like fixing
everyone's
everything.
ready to go. And so I was like, dude, like, I was like, no, just leave it. I'm trying to convince, just leave it for X Games and change it after. And he's like, you got to do one today then. And I was like, I looked at it. I was like, dude, if I eat shit, like, can't I just do it on like national television? I'd much rather just eat shit on television. And he's like, who knows if it's gonna even be here when you're back? Dude, you know? And I was just like, I'm like, okay, did like 2 more into the bag, and I was like, landing back wheel, right? And I'm like, I was sitting there, and were you there at that
I think I was there. Yeah.
yeah, but some other people were there. I was fucking. I won't lie.
TJ was there.
I was like, I was kind of mad at Pat. He's like, you're gonna make me do this, like, aren't you? Like, and he's just looking at me like, ready to fucking film.
Already
I
has
was like,
the phone
okay,
out.
fuck you. I was like, okay, I'll fucking do it. I'll do one. So drop in, sure enough, roll the fucking clip, fucking yoga position, my knee. Like, thank God, like, stretching, like Shane knows too. We used to do a bunch of shows. I would do like yoga shit in the morning, and thank God for that fucking stuff, because I didn't like break a knee or tear anything, but dislocated my knee, popped that shit back in. So I'm so glad I sent that like 2 weeks before.
But then X Games
came
around, and you're like,
wrap my knee up and wearing a knee brace, and like shit was just stiff as fuck, and I was just doing open loops at that point. To be honest, like if I would have sent the double flip, I would have blown my kneecap in half. But
dude,
at least I gave it a go, But yeah, like I don't know, like he just had that way of like convincing you to like, if you did one today,
You're doing one today.
like
I front flipped the spine.
think how much
because of
easier
it.
it would be.
yeah,
You're not leaving until you do one.
dude,
And just that, like, who knows if the ramps are gonna, you know, what if this setup's not here when next kid? I'm just like, you motherfucker.
You just like, I mean, but like you did want do the best for you. Just like,
yeah,
you know?
I owe that man my whole fucking BMX career, dude. Like, to be honest, if I
Me
never would have met that dude, I would not have gotten X Games invites. I wouldn't have gone to France. I wouldn't have done any of that. I wouldn't have made a world's first
All
trip.
three of us, you know, and like Shelby was talking because he was like the first, like one of you. You were always like kind of like a fucking. He was somebody to you.
I looked up to him.
Yeah, he was
like
like
one
the
of my
first
idols.
I think everyone did at this
Yeah.
table,
But
dude.
before he met him, like, because the way we met was crazy. We'll get into that after this. But like, when he came out and he seen Pat, like,
Yeah.
he said, "Never meet your heroes."
Dude,
right?
like they always said, never meet your idols.
Yeah.
But why? And the first time Shane brought me to Pat's, I pulled up and like looked the dude in the face and shook his hand, and I was like, "Oh shit, dude, my world's just crashed, bro." When I realized that like he was just as human as the rest of us, and at the end of him doing whatever he does and goes inside, like he has to sit with the thoughts in his head just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like we're all the same.
Literally, that's the crazy part too, because like I don't know, like we were all his best friends. Like everyone's like, "Oh, we were best friends, best friends." We were all his best friends. This guy had
Straight
so
up.
many best friends, but it's like, dude, that's someone I looked up to, and yeah, I got to hang out with him every single day, and like that was like someone I looked up to, my idol, mentor, whatever. That was my best friend. Like
Yeah.
crazy.
At these recent days, you were definitely like close as hell with Pat.
There every day. We weren't even. He was texting me in Spanish. It was like he wouldn't even text me words. He would just send me a picture, and he's outside, and I'm like, "Be over in 10."
And the funniest part is,
Yeah, just bullshit
the
like
funniest part is most of the time when we text Pat, like, "Yo, I'm cruising over," it was Chase texting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
Pat never was on his phone.
No.
No, he was never on his phone. It was Chase texting us some of the times.
Not only
I
that.
know. Well, yeah, even then, I'd get texts like on that period of time where I was just over there every day, like Johnny. I would get texts of just like, "Yo, like you're not here yet." Just expecting, he's like, "Yo, we gotta dig this shit out, right?" Like,
Like he said, we will go over. Like when you go over there, you see him outside, like with a shovel. You're like, "Fuck, I'm not riding today." Like
You ain't riding today.
we're not riding.
There was times where Pat would be like, "Yeah, we're just gonna do this real quick, and we'll ride after."
4 hours later of hard fucking labor, bro. Like digging out, like, hey, dude, these weeds aren't gonna like, they're not gonna pull themselves, but we could ride after, dude.
But it was cool because it brought like all of us like to like, you know, we earned our respect. To,
Yeah.
like, go
You had
ride
to,
Pats.
bro.
You
You
know,
had
you
to.
had to if you really wanted to be a part of like, because Pat was,
He would let you know if you didn't.
if you wanted to be a part of like hanging out at Pat's house, it's like one, you got to step it up. You got to be learning something new every day.
Yeah.
And not like he was making you do this. It was the energy that was
Yeah.
making us do this.
Progression, bro. You,
know?
can't step on that ramp and not want to learn anything.
Yeah, it was the energy
And
he
just
put
being
out.
around him.
Yeah, I mean, he had to do it. So like, with this fucking with his ramps and his like dirt setup, like he had to take care of it like every day, like
Maintenance.
wet, bro. And if he had to do it, fucking y'all had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like
Reseating
he didn't
the
want y'all ass
ramp.
around.
Yeah, you want to ride the ramps? Go fucking sweep them.
Pat was,
You know?
so this is another funny thing too. Pat was like, always had like the nicest, coolest side of him. He was so nice, but he had this one side of him that was like hardworking and don't be a pussy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that side,
That's where he kept
came
it core.
from, that side came from Vince, his dad.
Oh, absolutely.
His dad is foreman to the gills, bro. His dad, like yesterday. Remember yesterday we pull up and I like was talking. I was like, we were talking to Vince and I was just like, remember that one time I was like on the fucking ramp and I was working and you were just criticizing everything and he's just like, yeah, I was just telling you how much more retarded you were. I was just like fuck, man.
Yeah, somebody was doing something and they were like fucking not doing it right. And instead of telling them like they were fucking up, he looked at them and just gave them the look. And they knew they were retarded.
And Andy was saying, because you know how Andy used to go and stay with Pat when he was younger, you know?
Yeah.
Well, Vince was doing something like in the yard, and Pat was right next to him. It was Pat, Andy, and Vince. And Andy like brought up an idea for him to do so it like look nicer and easier. And he was like, Andy was showing him how to do it. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, that'll work. Thanks, Andy. Why didn't you think about that? It's a bunch of Pat.
Damn, that reminds me. We should have had Andy on here. Fucking, but we'll get Andy on again for you guys because Andy was really close to Pat.
Yeah,
They started riding together long before Kevin, best friends with Pat for sure. Like Kevin and Pat had like a special thing in Varga as well. Like Pat is like real special riding homies. And I would have to say like Kevin for sure,
Varga,
for sure, and even Andy, and Larry.
Larry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like I was just like, as a young kid before I met Pat, like I was just happy to fucking be there.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude, for sure.
And
It's hard, even like you name off those names, and then you could start just rambling off. So like the man, like freaking, like Johnny was saying, is friends with so many people. Like when we start naming off names like that, then you start going into like, oh, Dennis, Tyler Fernangle. Like, and you can't stop naming those fucking people.
There wasn't one BMX. Like,
it wasn't one, bro.
It wasn't like, it was just, if you just had to respect him. Whether you liked him or not, you had to respect him.
You had to.
Look at what he had.
Yeah.
Look what he was doing, People respected him so much, they were doing his tricks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it was. Like, I remember, so before I met Pat, I'd ride Connor's house. The way we met Pat was through Pat's dad. Because Pat's dad and Connor Nex's dad were best friends because they're foreman as fuck. And they're assholes, and I love it,
Mike would rip me.
Mike is the same person as Vince. So I remember Vince showed up, Pat's dad. I met Pat's dad before I met Pat. And before I met Pat, I was such a big fan. I had back-to-back replica bikes of Pat's.
Yeah.
Same colorway.
When we met, we had the same fucking bikes.
Me and Jacob had same signature frame as his, same colorway as Pat, and Pat was riding the same bike as us at the same time, and we didn't even know him, and we were just such big fans. We were those kids.
Big fanboys, bro. So official Vans, cut my fucking jeans, had long hair, and I wore a tank top every fucking day.
And then Vince looks at my bike, and he goes, huh. Looks familiar. And I'm like, fuck, he's on to me, man. He's on to me right now. And I remember pulling up to Pat's and just about the same bike as
everyone, dude. Yeah, I remember Shane and I show up a couple sessions. It's just all three of us. Same bike. We all had tank tops on. We all had Vans on.
What the fuck are y'all doing?
I was also really big of Alex Heim, so I did the cutoff shirts and stuff.
Oh, yeah, Alex had it. But Alex also got the style from Pat, too, bro.
He created something special, though.
Funny. Dude, I remember when I, first getting into the swing things, people used to call me Little Pat. They, didn't even know my fucking name, Pat just knew Pat's got this. I was like a fucking monster. He hid it under his ramp. He's like, I got this kid at my house, and he'll do anything tell him to try. I swear to. That's what he said. Like when there's a great fucking story, Haro barbecue video, when Mike Gray and all those dudes came over to the first ramp, and shit, right? So he's explaining to Nyquist. First time I met Nyquist and Mike Gray, Tyler Fernangle, and all those dudes. He's like in a group message, and I saw the message and he explaining. He's like, dude, I got that the exact thing. I got this kid. He's gonna ride with us, and he'll fucking do anything you tell him to do. Swear to God. So I'm getting there, everyone's five flare this, do that. And I'm body bagging him all over the fucking place, right? And then, it was just a sick fucking day. But again, it was just holy fucking shit. Here I am. I think it was a couple months into riding with Pat. And then I'm meeting all these fucking dudes. We start getting drunk at the end and shit like that. I remember the manager of fucking Haro got fucking wasted. And he threw up and shit like that, and he's sleeping in the garage on the fucking couch, and Pat, he's closing down.
the fucking Haro TM.
Yeah. He goes in and he's just fucking down, sitting cold water, bro. He's just sitting there shivering.
That was the first story that guy told when he came to the house.
What a fucking night.
Came to his house
what
the
a
other
night
day.
that was. And we all barely remember it.
I don't think it was the reason why Pat was off Haro, but
just 3 weeks later.
It was.
I think it probably had a part in that. Pat
it was just
on Haro anymore,
so fucking funny, bro.
He hosed this guy down.
It was time to let him go. They're like, yeah, he's.
That one time?
That guy, yeah. That one time.
How Jacob was saying though was just this kid that'll try anything. I remember that.
Yeah, and then that became Johnny because Johnny.
Dude, yeah.
I went to wetlands for my first time. I shouldn't have been riding these jumps, honestly. I was there and I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have been riding. He was like, no, you got it. Just don't walk out. Don't nose case. I was like, yeah, I'll try not to. I get there And I'm just like, I go there and it's Neapolitan because I was like, he was the one building. It was like Neapolitan and like 3 other guys. And I walk up and Pat's like, yeah, this is Johnny. They're like, so this is your science project we've been hearing about? And I was like,
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, shit. Damn, like, okay, yeah, I'm with it. He was like, yeah. Pat was like, I just tell him that I'm just teaching you everything. Like, you'll try anything.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Dude, it is so true because like, is it only me like by the way, Logan Martin, Daniel Sandoval, all these riders are fucking amazing. BMX riders are so good, but do they post crashes or do they crash?
It's just
Because I swear our crew of like the SoCal, like the Pat scene,
just body
bag, bro.
there was crashes posted, and not only crashes, there was montages
Yeah,
of
we'll
crashes.
put compilations.
It fucking bro, peep into yesterday, bro. Fucking, I can't even. I've been ridden for like a little bit, dude. And these last 4 days, like I was getting up off the couch this morning, bro, and I'm just, oh fucking Jesus.
We definitely these last couple days because we've all collectively been spending time with Pat's family at Pat's house and stuff, and like I remember right when we were there, like I didn't even bring my bike. I was so sad and down bad, like I wasn't even expecting to ride a bike at all, and then here comes Axel, and Axel's like brought his bike, and he's like, "Well, better fucking ride. Are we gonna sit around? We're gonna ride." And I was like, fuck, I don't even have my bike. So I pick up Pat's bike and his helmet and stuff. And dude, honestly, from like there, like the last days we've been there, it's been the heaviest sessions.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's like we've literally been trying to ride like Pat. Like obviously not trying to ride like Pat because
he
Pat's
180 triple barred the back step up.
yeah,
on his bike.
yeah, and like we're all trying to ride. Not try to ride like Pat because we can't do the things like Pat, but
Yeah.
we're trying to ride as much as Pat.
Or like Chase
Or
is
what we
saying,
would do, bro.
like Chase is saying that Pat had a trick list like on his in the notes of his phone, and they're talking about like Dream Yard 5, but with just like his friend, like people who can do the tricks that Pat had written down, and like with his friends, like people who were with him, and it would take like 10 guys,
dude,
to do what
it's
Pat
not
did.
one person that could do it. Like we're all remember we were all sitting on the ramp. We're like, yo, we should just try all of Pat's tricks. Those goes on the flip decade on the transfer. Everybody's like, no.
I'd rather send the double flip again.
Who's gonna do the fakey cash roll?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I barely got away with doing a regular fucking one, bro. My butt still hurts from that shit.
But
Flip decade on transfer.
yeah,
Open loop.
on the open loop.
Like legit.
You seen that clip?
No one can
That's
talk shit on
absurd.
it either.
You seen that thing? You haven't seen that clip?
Those of you guys that
Of
haven't
that clip
seen
of
it,
him doing the decade flip on the open loop. It's in one of his edits.
Saw how many times he bodied.
But you didn't see that. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
I saw
fucking-
it.
He
Oh,
said
the clip right
Yeah,
here.
dude.
If I get
That
that shit.
clip, I remember when he was getting it, and that clip was protected. Like everyone's life. Like if that clip got out, you were fucking murdered.
yeah,
Murder you.
facts though. But like that was the thing about Pat's StreamYards. You go there if you film, like just out of respect.
Dude, I remember when
you
he
know?
did the double decade again and shit like that. I was like,
wasn't that on the dirt?
yeah, like Dream
Yeah.
Yard 2, I think, with the dirt first got in there, like showed me everything, and I was like, oh, dude, this is sick. And then I was waiting for him to like do it again. Basically, that was one of those tricks. I was just like, how in the motherfuck does that happen?
Nah, yeah.
And then the ender clip, and like he's like showing me the video, and he's like, I'm noticing him not even looking at the video, he's just looking at it. And I'm just like, it's just one of those things. You're like,
I could barely do 1 decade.
how does that even come to mind sometimes?
I think a big power move for Pat was Axel because they got along so well.
Literally.
the meaning of time that they've hung out, like
They talked every day.
Axel. Yeah, like
I feel like it was just a
At
matter
face-
of time before
yeah.
they met, but I'm surprised like they didn't have
FaceTime.
sooner.
I'll show up and then just Pat just in the garage, just FaceTiming Axel.
dude, and it was like so. Axel told me the first time he met him, like he funny as fuck. Axel would always be like, "Yo, that's his favorite BMX rider because he like the dreads and like he just like how can he not be,
Yeah.
And Axel didn't know him, and he said that when he pulled up to the house for the first time, Pat was with Tay on the golf cart just rolling the dirt jumps, and Axel just comes and just hops right on the golf cart, and he's like, "So you're Australian, right?" And Pat's like, what the fuck? I'm not Australian. He's like, for some reason I thought you were Australian. Like, what the fuck? I know what everybody's looking for, and we don't have to talk about that. And you know exactly what they're looking for, because that shit was dark and scary. The whole moment of what happened, it's pretty gnarly. But I think just out of respect, like, if you ever wanted to bring it up, you're welcome to. But for now, this is the best vibe ever. Just talking about,
No, absolutely, yeah.
you know, the good times in Pat, because that was like tell me, like, because you went through this. Tell me how disrespectful it was getting a text message right when it happened. How'd it happen?
It was the worst thing ever. I was like, my phone was blowing up. Like, not like I'm just like with everything that's going on. I was right there. My phone's blowing up. We're trying to help. And I just look, my phone.
That fast?
Dude, instant.
Instantly.
Dude, it caught like wildfire. I mean, I don't know how fast I knew, but as soon as Kevin was told, I got called next.
Like,
So that's why, like, when you called me, I already knew.
like Shane said, it's the most disrespectful thing to text. Like, everyone knew I was there. I posted it 5 hours before that. Gonna be a good day. Us loading everything up. Everyone knew I was there. So everyone's just texting me, calling me. I'm like,
I
dude.
think it's some sort of shock. I mean, like, I don't want to give some people benefit out, but you know, like you, like even me, bro. At one point, I forgot all about that shit. I didn't know. I was like, shit. Like, was Johnny there? Who the fuck was there?
Yeah.
Like, you know. But even still, I'm not like you. You didn't get a message from me. Or
No,
something.
you wait.
I waited till I was here to even just say like hear a glimpse of like necessarily.
Just in the aspect of like the situation you and Axel and George went through, nobody should go through.
No,
Nobody
I
should
wouldn't
go
wish
through.
that on my worst enemy.
No, that's the just long story short, you driving there with him and having to drive home without him.
Worst thing ever.
I think it's fucked up that the news intercepted the call and
That was the worst thing too, because we're on the phone with 911 screaming, trying to send a helicopter. We see a helicopter coming from the distance. Okay, thank God. Like, come on. Thank God. And we're just like waving at them, yelling, like, land. Never landed, just circling.
fucking news.
The news. It wasn't even the medevac.
The people, and then the thumbnails on YouTube right now.
Thumbnails are fucked.
Fucking brutal.
Bro, like
No respect.
Just goes to show, like, this day and age, this fucking generation of social media and all this fucking stuff. It's just absolute bullshit. You're gonna turn people's darkest days
Yeah.
into just like, hey, look at this freaking like storyline of like, bro, you news people, you're talking about shit you don't even fucking know. Professional being like saying shit's like, dude, like, you guys have no business talking about like any of like into any of that business, especially in the place like.
In a
Get
place,
something like weeks after, like throw into like what they did on the news, like weeks after, like okay,
Yeah.
like you guys waited and all that, but like within a fucking day, posting something just to have like
hours.
but what it realistically, moral of that whole thing, it didn't let Chase gather her thoughts.
exactly, it was just right posted into the blast. They had
Because
no
Chase's
business.
fucking phone's blowing up. I texted Chase right away. Is
I-
Pat okay? I didn't even text Pat because I didn't even know at the time.
Yeah.
I remember I was golfing and I didn't even know, and Antonio just sent me the article saying fatal at Pat's, and Antonio said, "Yo, I heard Pat was there today." All he said before, because Carl called me an hour before that to tell me, and I just remember like instantly just pale. I was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is not it." I was like,
It's not his time.
there's probably a million people there, you know, and
Yeah, who's
I
to say
just-
what it was, yeah.
It was like when it happened, it was like everyone that been around Pat or watched Pat ride, he bounces up from everything. I thought, okay, like we're just gonna have to wait. Like he's like come to, just a bounce up, just out of nowhere. And we just tried, and then there's nothing. Then sheriffs got there, and then they just took over, and then we just went away. And like when they came up and told us, we were like, we didn't believe it.
yeah.
Doesn't feel real. You can't. I don't know. You just can't
Like-
believe something that you're.
No,
It doesn't
yeah,
make sense. Like the thought when you think of it, doesn't even make sense. Like
It's not his time to go. It wasn't his time to go.
No.
He's not gone.
and everybody says like it. I know they're trying to be nice. I know.
I know what
I
you're gonna
get it.
say, and I hate it too.
I get it. Everybody's trying to be nice, but he's in a better place now. And I'm like, no, the fuck he isn't. His better place was with his family. And the Chase having to, because they needed to examine, they identify the body, and that she called me after that, and wow, life is fucking crazy. And hug the people you're around, and love the people you're around. And if you have beef with somebody for some petty bullshit, get over it.
Dude, just
Life's too
fucking
short.
Be nice to fucking people. That man was never fucking mean unless you made him like that.
Like I said, he would let people ride that talk
I swear
shit
to
on him.
God, you know.
Piss him off.
Unless you pissed them off, then
you
like
have it.
I've seen Pat Matt at a couple times, but that was the nicest.
Still let you come ride the ramp.
ever.
Yeah.
Dude, it was just like when Shelby said earlier, it's like your idol. You're like, oh, he was just a normal human. He was more human than any of us, bro. It was just like the simplicity of a human being, like
Yeah.
didn't give a fuck about the social media shit, but like was still good at it. But like overall, like you could have taken all that shit away, and he still would have just been happy.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I got my ramps, got my family. Like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Really don't
No, not a care in the world
know?
besides anything, but it's
But his
friends and family.
adaptability too was insane, dude. That's what I always admired about him. Like you were talking about when, like, we knew him before Reed, and dude, he got rowdy. He got fucking rowdy.
The best time.
And,
He
like,
still was.
right when right when he like became a dad and stuff, like the shift in him, like his adaptability to adapt himself into situations of like the man won feast fucking and did a flare double whip first go, more hungover than he's ever fucking been. I remember that, so that was just like yeah, bro, I was fucking shit wasted last night. One fucking thing. And it was like his mindset and his adaptability to overcome shit was just fucking insane. It's like got people doing my tricks. Okay, I'm gonna do tricks people ain't thinking of. And then like, okay, now people starting to do that kind of shit. Now I'm gonna how to innovate all this. But then even with his personality and shit too, is like, like I said, like his ability to be able to just like, okay, be this fun, like party, have this fucking good time, no care in the world, and then come home and just be like such a solid dad and a husband is fucking
It's the craziest thing.
Like that's what I am. That's like my parenting is like full based off like what raised like Reed and Tatum.
That's
that's like
cool.
if I can find any better role model as a young dad, like one of the biggest things Pi ever said to me is like, you can grow old and have kids, or you can grow up with your kids. Like always stuck with me, because it's like you can learn all these things in life, and then you can like go and portray them like onto kids that you're having now, or you can go and learn and make mistakes with your kids growing up, and it makes you like that much even closer. Like you could specifically see that with like Reed and Tate, like how close they are, like with how close they were with Pat and shit like that. It's just like. What a parenting style is just fucking insane, bro.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
It's so true.
Chills.
It is, it's just like those certain things, those life lessons, bro. It's like I swear, like a lot, like that man taught me fucking so much shit that he didn't even know that he fucking taught me.
Yeah,
and he was just living his normal fucking life. And it was insane. I was like, bro, like if I wouldn't have found that dude, I wouldn't even want to know what my so fucking shit.
I'd be playing football.
Or something, or
you probably
I'd be an angry.
You probably playing football in like just a regular league.
BMX,
regular league.
Humbled me. Pat fucking humbled me even more. It was just like, dude, I was an angry fucking kid. I don't know why. I know why. Growing up situations, everyone's got their bullshit and stuff like that. But I was such an angry kid. But I had a little bit of fire.
Weren't you gonna be a brain surgeon?
Oh my god! It was the plan. I was gonna be a neurosurgeon.
Dude, the craziest
at a school.
thing,
Yes, it was.
The craziest thing that people right here would probably get a fucking hell of a kick out of. It was like, so Pat brought people back together. Me and Timmy and Pappas, like we had like our differences. And that we just haven't talked. We didn't talk for so long, and we it wasn't like our friendship completely ended, but it just wasn't there. It was never anything similar. Like we would not hit each other up. Maybe it was a stubborn thing out of all three of us. I don't know. It was just one of those things where just our friendship was, kind of shit. And this whole situation with Pat, I was so happy to see that Timmy and Pappas hit me up
Same. That's the same how it was with me. Like Dayton. Me and Dayton were super close, and then we didn't talk for 6 months, and then he was like one on driving home. Or not even driving home before we even left. He was one of the first people to text me like, "This can't be true. Like, Johnny, give me a call. Like, please, when you can. Like, I'm so sorry." Like,
yeah, and like it's almost like same with the Axel thing. Like I got close with Axel now, and I start to realize that, like he's such a cool person to be
down to
around.
earth.
Happy and fucking cool person, and like I met up with Timmy this last weekend, and dude, like I almost teared up because like he was so close with Pat too. Like around when I
First
hung out
time I
with
did
him.
it, me and Timmy did backflips together.
Yeah.
The first time at Woodward.
Yeah,
He did it on Pat's bike.
and dude, it literally just turned into like scratch the bullshit. Or you're my fucking not even a friend. You're my brother. Scratch the fucking bullshit. Pappas, like I didn't really send him back the message I wanted to because at the time it was just so hot in the moment of like hurting. But Pappas was like, bro, like let's hang out, like fucking hit me up, and I was just like, this feels good. I'm like, all right, this feels good because it's almost like, I bet like the situation's horrible, but
It sucks that you had to
there's positives in every negative.
Yeah, it sucks that it had to get brought. Like, you had to rekindle stuff in this way.
Yeah.
Because like what happened, but at the same time, you need those people, like, to be there for you too.
Yeah, 100%.
And you need to be there for those people too.
100%. I just this whole dude. We were all such a mess. Like, I feel like maybe it's a good thing that we're doing the podcast now that we're a little cooled off. But dude, we
Definitely smart.
we were all a fucking
Definitely
mess,
smart to
man.
have it a week after.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to be talking right now.
I had to fucking stop a tattoo halfway in between. That's what I heard. I got the call, and I was like, I had to literally send my client home. I was like, I can't even touch a fucking nothing right now. I gotta go home.
Yeah, like hopefully they understand.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
There's a full understanding of shit like that. I just can't.
And
It just came in just.
What feels
calling
good
me,
too.
like, what's going on?
I'm sure you guys both went through this as well. What feels good is how many people reached out to me knowing how close I was with Pat and how much it hurt, and that felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
they were
people
it
I've
wasn't
heard from it a long
Yeah.
time. Like I heard from Chris Courtney, and like remember a bit ago, dude. Like when Alex and all those dudes.
Mhm.
were
I
over
think
it.
that guy even texted me. I don't even know who that is.
And even people I haven't necessarily met, like Claude, like
Claude,
he
yeah.
messaged me, like
People
I got
that-
to talk with TJ, Corey Nastasio a bit,
Yeah.
and shit like that. Just like, people that he had a big impact too, and like everyone knew. Like it's the same thing with you, Johnny. It's like, fucking 9 years. I was with that dude for about 9 years.
Yep.
Dude, like every fucking day.
I spent every birthday since I was 11 over at Pat's house.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But I
Exactly,
didn't
bro.
know Pat like that. Like, from when I was 11 to COVID, when I really started riding was in COVID. I did a backflip when I was like 12, but that was just because it was Woodward.
Yeah,
Anyone could do a backflip.
that was a fun trip too.
Yeah, anyone could do a backflip if you go to Woodward. There's an airbag right there. So I learned it like then, never did it ever again. And then like,
Weren't you doing them in that dirt airbag though at Pat's too?
oh yeah, like airbag, but I never legit because I did it to Resi.
Remember that dirt airbag?
I'm sure you love it was always the Johnny. It was always the Pat. Yeah, Johnny.
That and Chase tried to like recently, like the past 2 years, Chase like was trying to like find my name, like send me a picture through Pat's phone, like
Yeah.
send me something. She couldn't find. She couldn't find my name, and for some reason, Pat thinks I'm like a hardcore Mexican. Like, I'm white. It was Juan. Juan Simone. Juan Simone. I remember I left my water bottle at Pat's house one time, like a hydro flask. This fucker like graffitied it with a Sharpie to Juan across the whole bottle. He's artistic.
Yeah, he's always loved drawing and shit.
Holy shit.
But yeah, like I was saying, like I didn't really start going over there really until like COVID hit. COVID, I had nothing else to do. Like school was out. Like I was literally just home every day. And like Chase caught on first because like I was going there once a week on the same day, every day, or not every day, but once a week, same day. And Chase finally told me, she's like, you can come over here more than once a week, right? I was like, okay. And then because
Dude,
I would just hit up Chase.
I
Yeah.
remember when those floodgates were unleashed, bro. Like, oh, dude, like it's
Don't gotta tell me twice.
A lot of
come over
people-
every day.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know just how much of a hustler Chase was behind the scenes. Chase was like, Chase is like like Pat's like, go ride your fucking BMX bike, Pat. That's all. Chase was like, go ride your fucking BMX bike. Chase would just be hustling behind the scenes on the phone with everybody, you know, making sure all like
The manager.
Yeah, you're fucking going here and there.
Is that what the period of time? Is that what he called her now at that point?
Nah.
And honestly, she probably hustled Johnny. Was like, oh, Johnny comes over all the time. He can watch the kids.
Yeah.
She even asked me to come watch the kids a couple of times. I was like, fuck.
Yo, you guys were the kids watching. I was the
Yeah.
landscaper, bro. I would come over. Pat's not even there. He's like, oh, he went to drop off Reed. We're starting on the retaining wall today, though, Jay.
Yeah.
Or when they're painted, it's like, hey, there's just a couple of corners that need to be painted in Reed's room and the drum room.
Dude, I remember.
And then I'm just in there fucking.
He said the landscaper.
But even Chase, you're gonna kill me for this, anyways. But Pat had this wonderful name for Chase. Sometimes he was like, oh, the warden. the warden's telling us to go.
Dude.
He said the manager. I was like, oh, did he switch it up? Like the 2 years that I didn't see him, he was like, oh, he had to switch it to the manager. But I always knew her as the warden.
Yeah. Chase would put her foot down.
You knew.
Dude, when she was on it. She'd get on it, bro.
But he was such a good husband, you know.
Bro, the best.
Because he would just be like, you know, Chase is like, all right, let's go. Fuck, Chase said it. Fucking put everything down, everybody.
No questions asked. No questions asked.
We're doing this now.
Yep.
And then it was Pat was a bit of a warden too.
Yeah.
You working over there? Pop up from the hill. Yeah, I'm working. What do you mean? And he was just sitting there. Hey, I'm trying to find a song. Make sure those stairs look good.
Dude, it's so crazy. Just the life they fucking live is insane.
Did like, say you were to hit up Pat or something? Because like, I would just end up showing up anyways just because I know he was riding.
Yeah.
But so you'll text him or something like, riding today? But you just get no response. But you go there anyways. And he'll have a full message typed out on his
Ready to
messages.
send to you.
Yeah.
Forget to send.
Dude, that was I mean, because he was Pat. Dude never was on his phone.
No.
Sometimes he just had to be like, all right, I'm texting Chase. And then sometimes Chase just texts me off Pat's phone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And sometimes fucking he'd have this fucking. He'd walk into I've seen him so many times. He'll walk into the garage and he'd just sit there. Be like, I don't know why I walked in here. And I'm like, shit, bro. Like, I'll do that sometimes too. But sometimes he'll just like walk in with this assertiveness, like it's there. And as soon as he walks through the door, it was just like.
That garage is just like the Pat spot.
Yeah.
And that's when the other day I was there, dude. I fucking broke down. I had to.
Oh yeah, I know.
Everybody had to. You know, like we said, it was before. It was just coming in waves, and I just sat there and I was just thinking, like, fuck, is he not here right now? Like, and I just broke down.
That's how I was at Andy's, because every time I would go ride at Andy's, I would go with Pat.
Yep.
And it's like, fuck.
Yeah, I remember.
And Johnny had to fucking bring Reed, and Reed, like, I'm sure a lot of people don't know how he's taking it. Like, they're kids, you know?
They understand, but not like
the fullest.
Yeah.
It's like Reed knows. You could tell Reed's
knows.
a quiet, mature little kid.
Kay's a little.
Don't be sad, mommy,
Yeah.
girl. You know.
Yeah, she's stronger than everyone. I'd say
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, she is, and
She's helping us all.
yeah, she's such a positive.
I know.
little heart, dude. She's so fucking sweet. And like Reed's like, I told him, I was like, yo, you're the man around here now. You know your dad would be proud of you if you just this is you.
Yeah.
You're the man of the house. Like, look at you, bud. You know, kind of giving him like a little incentive, like, hey, fucking man, you're the man now.
Yeah.
You know, like he really is.
He goes and grabs his Orbeez gun and just pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, and I remember I was talking to him when he was on the ramp, and I was just like, dude, what's next, dude? I was like, what's next? Your dad was always on the next move. Because I had to get at least a little
Yeah.
conversation with Reed.
Yeah.
I was like, "What's next, dude? Like, you're the man. Like, what are you gonna do? Your dad was always in the move. What's the next ramp setup?" And he was just telling me all these crazy kid fantasies, you know, like it's just stuff that just wasn't realistic. Like, I want to take that whole wall down and then I want to make a pump track right here.
Oh my
and like just like the craziest stuff. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, all right, it doesn't matter what the kid wants to do, but
He's on the
as
move.
long as he has that in his head that he's the man and he's on the next move.
Yeah.
You know, and because that kid has not kicked it with, it's rare. I mean, he has like his younger friends,
He was one of the boys.
but he kicks
Yeah,
it with
he's-
older dudes
Yeah, he was
the whole time.
Absolutely.
yeah.
More mature than me sometimes. But when someone,
What do you say? Someone was telling him a story the other day. It was like the most boringest story ever. He goes, "Are we done yet?"
Dude, he's such a mature little shit. I love it.
Yeah, Baker. Thank you for bringing him an Orbeez gun yesterday too. Much
Yeah.
appreciated.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give the kid an Orby gun and,
Most
and
reckless
hang
kid.
out with him.
Yeah. Maybe at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll never forget the first time I met Pat, like the first day at Pat's. After I met him, I was like, oh, fuck. And we were in the garage, and y'all were out there riding. It was me, Jackson, and Timmy.
Like you just passed the torch.
This day, that's the highest I've ever been. Bro, I'm telling you, I got so high, I couldn't speak. I didn't know what to do with myself. And like,
We'll do that.
That was Pat's favorite thing, though, to
Like-
see people like that.
He would love it. He would
Because
love
he knows you're
it,
gonna be
bro.
fine, like in a couple hours. But like,
Yeah.
right then, he's like just like so entertaining.
he would
But
just
Pat-
look at me and be like, what the fuck? So like yesterday when I got to see his notebook, I sat there and looked at those drawings for like 40 minutes, dude. So to be able to like just take a peek inside that dude's mind is priceless to me. Like I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
This dude always had a vision and was so much deeper than he like let people see.
Yeah.
I had
He
no
was
idea.
and you're a big man of like that style of stuff. Like I've always known you as like being like, all right, seeing people's like vision inside their brain and like this guy moved in silence.
Was it your
Never talked about it. He was all about it.
Was it your vision for? Because the first time I met you was when we did that Vans thing at Pat's house. You remember when we threw Pat had all those
All the
10
shoes.
all the 10 years of shoes or whatever, and you filmed that video? I think that was the first time I met you.
Yeah.
I don't think he even like. I think you said something like Chase called you and he was like, "Yeah, Pat's got all of his fucking shoes out. We're gonna do something with it today." And that's all I knew. So we
Yeah.
pulled up and there was like,
That video was pretty sick. I
Dude,
remember that.
He had so many Vans shoes
So many shit.
that that Chase like was like, get these out of my fucking closet.
Yeah,
like
he
because
saved every pair.
they were all like
Every single
Yeah.
pair, bro. I remember like fucking trying to shove my feet into a size 9. I'm like, I'm like,
dude.
dude, I'm like a 9. I'm a 10. I'm not gonna even say I'm a 9.5 anymore. I'm like a 10. And I would just be shoving my because I'm like
Those are just like all.
pack
just-
Casey shoes, you know? Like I'm a fucking run.
and there's
these
so
bitches.
many, dude. It was like
Dude, they would just give you special powers. I don't know what it was.
most
about
of
it,
them
but
were
I'd
like-
wear like his shoes and it'd just be like, oh yeah, my feet would just look like fucking pterodactyl toes, dude. That's probably why they look. jacked
What did you
up
say
and
when
everything,
I
but-
broke my foot or like my metatarsal, wherever that bone is in my foot? You're like, your toe's doing like the Exorcist right now. You're just like,
dude, they're throwing up gang signs.
yeah,
Throwing up gang
throwing up my set.
Dude, that was like okay. So when Pat got knocked out at X Games from the pit bikes, I remember like I had to let it cool down, but like, dude, Pat had a fucking sense of humor like
Yeah.
no other, and I was just like, yo, Pat, I was like, seeing you throwing your gang signs down there. Because you know when somebody gets knocked out, like because Pat swears he like wasn't fully out, but I'm
he
like,
limped it.
but you
He
know he threw his gang signs on the floor, you know, and I was like, he's like, dude, no, I fucking wasn't, and I'm like,
There's a split.
all right, I showed him the video. I was like, bro, you were crip ganging, blood ganging right there, all at the same
You were
time.
not awake. Yeah, you were not.
And he's
awake
just
right
like,
there.
fuck, all right, you're right.
lights are on and no one's home right
"No,
now.
dude, I did that shit on purpose."
Yeah.
That was
Just
gnarly.
crash it.
Dude, him.
I saw that. I was like, shit, that was heavy.
A lot of people don't realize like how much of like I did the pit bike scene, right? Pat did the fucking pit bike scene. I don't know, but a fucking Pat was like Dude, when you
He was like low key, high key above.
When
the
you-
like,
when
singing.
you are-
316
dude,
that shit was
jumps.
and Axel, like when they got together on the pit bikes, crazy, bro.
dude so.
That video that they filmed at, I mean, it wasn't two people on pit bikes, but it was Pat, Axel, and Trey Wood. You remember? They're all three. That
Yeah,
was like the perfect mix.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that was so.
that
cool.
was a sick vibe of a video.
Axel and Pat on pit
I
bikes.
feel like
was
that's an underrated video. I feel like
Really?
people don't like know that video.
front foot flares. Like Pat was sending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See that?
Wait, what are you talking
Which
about?
it's the what? It's
Freeride.
the it's like a skater. And the,
Oh yes, dude. I saw that like a long time after.
yeah,
it was
riding
posted.
all on
That
it.
one's sick.
That is sick.
Every time there was like a video to be made with Pat, it was like you like Dennis Harrison would say, dude, you cannot, if you're lighthearted, you better not be there because you're gonna see some fucking heavy slams and you're gonna see some big congratulations and you're gonna like, if you're gonna be there for that video, you gotta fucking play the part because dude, this guy
He's coming to war.
He's
bro.
coming for war.
Dude, absolutely.
Always.
I'm glad you brought. This was just in my mind too. I wanted to touch on the subject of like I've never seen a human being hit the ground so many times as this man has. I've witnessed. You know, like he literally hits the ground and the earth says sorry.
Yeah.
Like I swear to God, you know, like dude, it's like fucking. I've literally seen him hit the ground and he broke a 2x4 through the skate light. Like I've seen him hit the fucking ground, bro. And I'm just like, and he just gets up
with that face like, ugh.
limps away.
And that's like why we're
Give
all,
him 2 seconds, and he's like, "Oh, I'm right back into it." And he's like, "Oh, you don't want to take a break?" And he's like, "If I stop now, it's gonna hurt more." He's like, "You just gotta keep going." Like that mentality, I was like, "Bro, like."
But just think, we all like nowhere near on the scale of Pat of like taking slams. But Pat taught us that like
Oh, dude, yeah, like I've
Yeah.
fallen. Like, luckily enough, even Pat and I like used to talk about it all the time. Like, I had this like, it was either or. You know, I could cat my way out of a lot of things, and I have like I'll run out.
That's what he would
out of
always
that,
say.
do that. But like, if I don't, I end up like yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, it's either or. It's one or the other. It's either like, oh yeah, I ran out of this cool like rolled or whatever, or I just fucking hit the fucking ground.
yeah, I wish that,
There's no in between.
I just hit the ground.
Yeah.
You know, you take things. That's the one
The
thing I
best-
didn't want to take from Pat.
The best video was the one you posted. It was such a Pat thing. He's like, ugh, my thug walk.
Like, no, my gun
like,
walk.
"Hurt
My
my
gun
My
walk.
gun walk.
My gun walk. And he's just
The
limping
limping.
across.
Let me swap these real quick.
Oh.
There's so many things that we could just bring up about Pat. I mean, we could talk about him for hours on end, man. And the one thing about him is like, he never talked about himself.
No, it was always bringing up other people or like you said, like when you hear Pat talk about you, like I posted on my like Instagram one, like there was a podcast he talked about me, and I'm like you're like I looked up to this guy, like idol mentor, and you hear him talk about you, you're like, you just gotta play it cool.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I feel the same. Like, even when you say things, it's like I said, you know, I hadn't been there the
'Cause
last 2 years.
in our
but when you say,
generation-
like, oh, he would bring like something up, like, oh, about me or shit like that. I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah.
I like motherfucker never forgot about me. You know?
In our time being of hanging out with Pat, he went on a podcast with Catfish, and he did the same thing for us.
Yeah.
Because they asked him the same question, was like, who do you ride with nowadays? And he was like, oh,
These mentally
there's a-
unstable kids.
yeah, there was like,
Temecula.
he would say like, oh yeah, Jacob ride with him a lot, and there was this kid Shane ride with him a lot, and then
Yeah.
Larry. He
The
was,
best
yeah.
feeling ever. You're like you said, you're his friend, but you're like still do like
You're one
yeah.
of, you're one of those, like, yeah.
I was
He's
like,
the man.
yeah, and the time he brought me up, like, I was like, I think I was 15, and I was like, I just learned flares in like a tail whip, and he was like, "You're getting pretty good." I'm like,
Yeah, I'm getting pretty good.
yeah.
Dude, it's
I think also another thing is with like me and Pat, people didn't realize how young I was.
no, no,
Yeah,
nobody
no.
knew.
Oh, not at all. Absolutely, bro. Yeah,
If anything, Jacob did
yeah.
because I was around when I was like super young with Jacob. But like you guys, like I remember we were at like his birthday. You're like, oh, dude, I thought you were like 19, 20. Like
Straight
I
up.
was 16.
Yeah, that was funny. I was trying to cupcake with your sister at the time, and
Hey, I was for it.
now she's getting married, and I'm like,
Sore subject.
because there was this time where, because remember we were saying, because like There's one time where I would go up to like my homies are trying to get like a girl and there's like a hot girl there. If it's one of my homies, I'll just like go up to him and act like I don't know him and I'll be like, yo, can I get a photo with you real quick? It's like the best thing to help out a homie because then you just walk away like you don't know him.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah. He did that with me and his sister.
Fucking May, that's the sickest fucking thing I've ever.
Genius.
heard.
That's the best man move
Now
I've ever heard in
imagine
my
if you're
life.
rolling with a squad of like 4 dudes and you're just helping each other out like that. You're like, "Hey, my turn."
Hey, we don't know each other when we walk in here.
Oh, dude, like, don't even say where you're from. Like, you're the. Can I get a picture, man? He's like, "You're the what? You're the guy from what?" You're like, I don't like it.
He tried that with his sister. It was so funny.
Yeah, my sister out of all people. Like, why? Like, normally brothers are like protective, you know? I'm like, yo, Shane, can I get a picture with you?
It's like, so funny. That's hilarious.
God, bro.
Congrats on her for getting married and shit, though. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
good looks. Good luck to her fiance.
Yeah. It sucks, dude. It
Robin's
sucks.
racing, right?
Because it's like, dude, I start to become fucking good luck Chuck, you know?
Good luck.
And like, you know, once you are with a girl,
Good luck.
they fall in love with everybody, and so happens to be everybody's your homies, but it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, but it is.
What the fuck? Ain't what it ain't, but it is.
House with your best friend, and you're just like,
Oh my god. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, but
don't love her.
yeah, life's crazy. But fucking, what's the most memorable moment any of us here have had with Pat?
Memorable moment. I mean, shit, there's so many like funny times. Like I remember, so I think this was all within like a month. Pat did a dirt jump contest, and I don't know if like any other BMX people have the story, but this was like the one thing Pat and I had in common. It was fucking. I thought it was fucking funny. He was trying something over a dirt jump, and he landed so hard he shit his pants.
Vegas?
So he shit his pants, and
Oh, Pat shit his
He's
pants.
so,
Yeah.
he'd be so mad at you right now.
I know, but I'm bringing it up. So then there was another time. I think it was like 2 weeks after this. I was doing 5 flares on the ramp, and like overcooked one real hard, and I just fucking like over the front end slapped, and I slapped so hard it like gurgled my stomach, and I shit my pants. So it was like one thing like we like just morally like we'll never talk about this to anyone, but it was like a story we had. They're just like, "Oh yeah, dude, have you ever hit the ground so hard you've shit your pants?" Yeah. Yeah, I have. We both have.
Now they know. It's out.
Oh
So-
my
so
god,
bad,
that's
bro.
just how gnarly he would slam, and you
Dude,
too.
exactly. Yeah, it was just like one of those things. It's like everyone's like, "Yeah, I've done a gnarly crash." I was like, "Have you hit Mother Earth so hard that you shit your pants uncontrollably?"
I haven't yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Knock on
You know,
wood.
that's how much we be sent. That's how much
gonna say,
Pat and I would
I've had
send
some
it, bro.
gnarly life slams in this life of bodying, and I could comfortably say I've never shit my pants from
Me either.
crashing. So,
Straight up
you
poop
know,
my pants. Poo-poo.
I
Doo-doo.
congrats on that one.
I'm just saying, it was just one of those funny things. It was like shit. It was like, oh my, literal shit, you know?
What about you, Johnny? I mean, you had so many, but
It was like, I would say like happiness, like happy wise, like I'm glad I got to ride triples with Pat. Like, you know,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
got to like, cause that's a big like not big contest. I didn't make it into the contest. Hashtag practice, but no,
I'm right here with you, pal. Come on.
Yeah.
but, but just like going to like something like that big in front of all these riders, and you're like, fuck, dude, like this rolling's gnarly.
Different level, huh?
Everything's like crazy, and Pat's just like, you got it. You got like. It,
Oh yeah, because he was, dude. It was like always with the triple challenge, like these recent ones. It was like, let's go, Johnny.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
always pumped. Let's
Yeah.
go, Johnny.
I know he was filming me, like you said, like he just taught me how to front flip too. Like taught me how to front flip. Next day we went to the step. Like I did it to an airbag resi thing, and next day we were like, let's do it over the step up. I was like, fuck, dude, like you do it first. And he's not a front flip guy, like Castro
He
guy.
did not like
Yeah, he did not like doing straight front flips
No.
all the time, at least.
Yeah, and then I was like, you do one right now, I'll do it right behind you. And he was like, okay. He did one. I was like, fuck, I have to do this right now. And then just dropped in, did it. like I think I bailed the first time, and then second time went up, did it, and just front flip, somehow pulled it, and just got back up to the deck. He was like, "Ready for a train?" I was like,
Oh my
I
god.
was like,
Oh my god, that sounds like a front flip train right
Yeah.
after you have just barely landed
my
it.
first one ever. I was like, fuck it. Yeah, I guess. And then like just having that clip of just like me and him, I was like, damn, dude. Like I would have never thought like 2 years ago that I'd be training him with something like that, you know?
Yeah, what
Like
if
maybe a tuck,
yeah.
but like a front flip, it's like, damn,
what
hell
a
yeah.
feeling, like, especially like Shane and I can kind of like, other than, you know, like the shitting our pants story and kind of shit like that, like what Johnny's attesting to, like just competing against him, you know. I remember when I was doing like recon tours, like the amateur shit, and then I got like the pro bump, and then I was like, oh dude, like I'm with the boys now, I'm riding against Kevin and Pat and all that. And then like it was one really big thing, like when I first got my X Games invite and shit, and then it was like, bro, like I'm on the list with this motherfucker. Like this is real ass shit. Like, well, holy crap, dude. Like, and you know, like to him, obviously, it's just another walk in the fucking park. You know, it's like, oh, I'm here at X Games. I've been here since I was
He
fucking.
comes in, his sunglasses on. He's just
Yeah,
like,
whatever. You know, just say, hey, whatever. I'm fucking Pineapple Cat Pat Casey. You know, remember when we had
Yeah.
the chance like that? But that was like a real surreal thing too. You know, it was just like, oh my god, like once you're like kind of finally, you know, like you're not training him with tuck no handers and shit anymore, you know, like you're like actually doing shit. You know? Like I remember like one of the times we were riding so much, and like we had the same bike as him, Shane. Like
yeah.
I copied my style off him, bro. Like called me Little Pat because I did Indian airs, I did decades, I did everything like him. And then, you know, we're riding one day on the ramp, in the same way, you know, he looks at Johnny, he's like, oh, you're getting really good now, you know. And I was like, oh, thanks, dude. And he's like, then he looks at me and he's like, it's time to start doing your own shit.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, what? He's like, don't be getting good at my fucking tricks. He's like, don't be doing truck whips and all that. He's like, go do your own shit. He's like, you're getting good enough now. Start doing your own shit. So I was like, oh, like what's different than truck whip? Truck down whip. Okay, just go opposite. But
Dude, and that
what a surreal feeling, you know, like my best friend, my brother, my mentor, fucking telling me, he's like, oh, stop copying my fucking shit.
Started
Like
doing
when
his
you
shit
know
now.
you made it in a sense.
You know, it's just like X Games and all that. It's like a you know,
And you
obviously
can't do anything about. You can't be like
that's just like, yo,
all right.
hey, here's the
Hey,
line.
fuck.
Here's the line now. No one can cross
See,
it.
What about you? What was your favorite?
I would say challenge in Arlington. I was always like super shy guy when I went over to that place. But we were at Triple Challenge in Arlington, and it was like right before the contest started, and he saw me like over in the crowd, and he just went out of his way to kind of like come say what's up. It just like meant the world to me, and it kind of showed like what kind of person he was. Like he was never above anyone else.
Yeah,
No, never.
because
Yeah, more human than all of us, you know.
You didn't spend the most time with Pat, but like, you knew who you were. You remembered you. What up?
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a
just giving
cool
his
guy
time to
thing.
everyone, you know. It's time.
Yeah.
His time was to him. His time was like not worthless, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's like his time to everyone else was more important than his time to himself.
Yeah, mine was definitely. I would have to say, like, I never really competed against Pat besides like the recon tour a long ass time ago because I finally made. Yeah, but you know. I'm not competing against Pat, you know. I'm there. I'm competing against myself.
Was it ever really competing against Pat? You know?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Like it never really was.
But there was the best, most memorable time was when me and Pat did Nitro Circus for our first time.
Oh yeah.
I did at the fucking Nitro Circus show at.
Is that the one where you did the flip whip to case?
Yeah, Pat was there to witness that on top of the ramp. He was like, "Bro, what the fuck?" And just tripping out. And like I did like a signing with Pat, and I just remember I felt like the sickest fucking dude because Travis Pastrana was right there, and I'm with Pat. You know, I love Travis Pastrana, and he's the fucking goat of goats. He's like above all legends on action sports and stuff. But I was just like, my thing was just like, bro, this is Pat fucking Casey. What's up?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we were doing trains and stuff, and then like Pat goes like this. Pat goes, "Yo, Travis, he's about to do his first double flip on top of the ramp." Travis, like getting Travis's attention because he was announcing on top of the ramp, and I'm like, "Fuck!" I was kind of caught off guard, and I was like, "All right, bet, well, I have to." And he's like, he's about to do his first ever double flip. And Travis was like, what? So he announces to the crowd, I got this guy up here, Shane Davis. He's never done a double flip before, and he's going to try his first ever right here. And Pat's like,
Go.
Go ahead.
Pat's like, all right, go. Cameras in my face. And I'm like, sitting there, and I'm like, fuck it, dude. And I landed it first try, dude. I was so fucking pumped.
nice.
And like, just him being there for that moment, he was so pumped on me. And,
Dude, that's
dude,
what I mean. Like, you don't know. I don't know how he would get you to do the things. He would just.
yeah.
Somehow got you.
But in mine and Andy, it was Andy and Pat. Like I'll have to give Andy the respect forever because Andy's the one that actually got me on Nitro Circus. Andy's like one of my closest friends ever, and Andy's also like in that same position with me. You know, I gotta look up to Andy hella, and Andy was the guy that was also like Travis. You know, trying to get it. Like they were up there. They knew what the fuck they're doing. They've done this ramp, but they were up there to give me my moment.
Did you straight flip it before?
No. Pat, remember?
Have you straight flipped?
No, Pat told me straight up.
It's easier to double flip.
Pat told me straight up, you cannot straight jump. You're not allowed to.
No, like I'm taking straight flip it. Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Single flip first.
Yeah.
You think it was
But like
easier to
when you
double flip?
first ever hit the nitro ramp,
Oh, you
first
gotta
ever hit the
fucking
ramp,
straight jump that.
I can comfortably say I've never once in my life straight jumped the nitro ramp.
Straight jump the right. I've never done that.
Pat says you have to flip it.
Have to. First time I did it, we rock paper scissors for who would front flip it first go when it first went to Paris.
Yeah.
And I fucking lost. So
No
I
straight jumps.
front flip it first go. Fucking died.
But Andy was also on the on the big ramp stuff. Like, bro, Andy's the shit. You know, like the big ramp stuff. Andy was also like
Yeah, he would.
the guy that would tell me like, no straight jump, Shane.
When I
Like,
was
fuck, you know, as a guy that's just first ever riding this ramp, like, and getting told you have to backflip it before you jump it.
but then, like I said, it was like I felt it was easier to double flip.
Yeah.
Like single flipping was just like you just look back and you start flowing back. But like double flip, you just like do a regular flip pull and just sit in it, and you're like, oh, there it is. But Andy helped me out a lot when I was in that shit too.
Yeah. Andy has
and then,
Andy's a veteran on a lot of the nitro stuff, and you know,
Plus, that shit was just
Yeah.
figuring out too. Like when
Yeah.
it came to Paris and that kind of shit, I remember every day I had never stepped off that thing. I threw the air like a fucking.
yeah.
I get it.
You went hard the first time you rode that for sure.
You rode World Games, right?
Yeah, I ended up like 5th in World Games with some speculative judging.
But
Look to the camera.
I think
We won't get on.
we're pretty close to like squaring this off. Anything else you guys want to throw out there? Put
Well, I
in the
mean, like-
universe for Pat and just love.
There's so much fucking. I'm pretty sure we could do a 24-hour episode of just talking about that.
Yeah.
You know, like just the positive impact he put on everyone and on the world. You know, it's like there's so much love. You know, especially in the BMX community, I feel like maybe not a lot of people from the outside world necessarily know how the BMX community is like. It's so family oriented, you know. It's
Yeah.
no matter what, it's for the benefit of BMX and like that kind of stuff. So it's like him being able to even make an impact outside of that world too is just like so freaking insane. And it's just like I said, we could sit here and be talking.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you just gotta take
100%.
take the positive where it is. And like I said, I have appreciation for that man that like he'll never even know until I fucking tell him when I see him again.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
What about you, Johnny?
Yes. Thank you for everything. Literally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're loved. It's crazy. You're just like seeing it in like Riverside, like where we live, just going around. Dude, there's a huge graffiti thing, or they got taken down, but someone overnight did a huge graffiti thing on the 91 freeway. So
Next time you go to Havasu, I did the rocks as well. So
I'll see it every time.
it's pretty cool.
So yeah, like I said, he'll be with me forever. I'll always love the guy. Like he taught me everything, and till we meet again.
Yeah. You got anything to say?
It was one of one. I always look up to what he did and who he was. I got to spend some time with him.
You're one of one guy.
Pat,
God created that mold, and then he just I can't make more.
I love you. I love you to death, Pat. From now on, I'll try my best to never be a pussy.
Hashtag don't be a pussy.
Hashtag don't be a pussy
Trust yourself.
and trust yourself. That was Pat's thing. And we're always going to be there for the family.
Always.
100%.
Pat Casey forever.
Casey forever. Thank you guys so much for watching this. We do appreciate you guys. It was a bit of a different podcast for the first time ever. You know, we tried to make it like less emotional than ever. I don't want to sit here and fucking have an emo pod. We want to talk about, you know, like how fucking cool Pat was because we said, you know, and thank you guys. We're gonna be trying to post weekly. I'm gonna make it a priority to post weekly for you guys and enjoy the journey of the podcast. We're gonna have some cool guests on. I'm gonna start hitting people up, and yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Comment your favorite memory of Pat if you've ever watched a video of him, you know, or anything like that. Yeah, pictures or anything.
All links are in description too to help his family out.
100%. Thank you so much for that. All links in description to help his family out. There's a GoFundMe and there's another link for another GoFundMe, and there's also some T-shirts out there that Shreddy put together. But everything's going straight to the family, and they could use it right now with the tough times, and it'd be all greatly appreciated. Well, we love you guys. Deuces.